Hey friends, welcome to my channel Organized with Joy. I'm Joy and welcome to another Thoughtful Thursday video. In today's video, I am going to be talking about mom guilt. There's a whole list of reasons why we mamas might feel guilt in life. Going back to work or staying at home, breastfeeding or not breastfeeding, feeling annoyed or tired of your kids, snapping at your kids, having a bad day, letting your kids get bored, not letting your kids get bored by allowing them to have too much screen time, being embarrassed by their behavior. I'm not going to address all of these individually. I'm more going to be talking just in general about mom guilt and what we can do to try to stop feeling guilty as mamas. In reality, if you have mom guilt, you probably are a caring mother. The reason you have mom guilt is because you care. So just know that you are doing good if you have mom guilt, because that shows that you genuinely do care and you want to be a good mom. When you have mom guilt, first decide if you're actually doing anything wrong. If you do feel like there's something you need to change, then come up with practical ways that you can change and do something differently so that you don't have that feeling of guilt. Feeling guilty in and of itself won't change your behavior. You need to come up with some practical ideas of ways that you can change so that you're not disappointed in yourself and you know that you're doing the best thing for your kids. Next, you need to really realize that it's never too late to make changes. We really can't just dwell on the past. I often say to my kids and my husband, we don't have a time machine. We can't go back in time and make different choices. All we can do is move forward from where we're at right now. And so with that said, don't dwell on the past, just move forward and make the choices that you know are right moving forward. And let me tell you that it's never too late, because I have older kids. If you're new here or you just don't know, my children are 24, 20, and 17. So my children are older and I can definitely have a lot of mom guilt and regret. So I wanted to tell you a story about a conversation a friend and I had about motherhood. And this friend and I are very different. I think it's actually why we get along so well. And I learn so much from her. And I know she says she learns so much from me. And so that's the best type of friend to have, is when they're different than you and you can really learn from them. But we were just discussing our different strengths in mothering, and she was saying that she feels like I'm really good at nurturing, and she feels like she's not good at the nurturing piece. And as she was talking, I was like, but you know what? You are really good at having hard conversations with your kids and, you know, making sure that you're having those tough discussions and not being afraid to have those conversations with your kids, where I think I don't do that enough. I think I don't want my kids to feel uncomfortable. I don't want to say anything that will, I don't want to say anything that'll make them feel uncomfortable. And she was saying how she's trying to be better at nurturing. Like, one of her sons had asked her, Mom, can you just make a sandwich for me? And she realized in that moment that this is something she needs to develop. She needs to do better at nurturing. And as we were talking about that situation, I said, and I'm opposite. I need to do better at talking to my kids about hard things. And so I have started that journey of like trying to have more deeper conversations with my kids. And they're older now. And do I wish that I had been doing this since they were in middle school? Yes. And to be fair to myself, it's not like I don't have any hard conversations with my kids and I don't, you know, teach them right from wrong or anything like that. It's just, I don't always take the opportunities, and I'm not always intentional the way my friend is intentional with her kids. Just like she feels like she's not intentional with maybe the nurturing side of taking care of children. So all this to say, it really is never too late to make a change with your kids. You can do it at any point, even when they're young adults. Something I wanted to talk about that is kind of adjacent to mom guilt is mom shame. And I know sometimes we have conversations with other moms that make us feel guilty, or maybe they say a forthright comment or call you out or challenge you on the way you're raising your children. And honestly, I encourage you to not just dismiss someone who might be challenging you, but to really listen to and think about what they're saying. Sometimes we need other people's perspectives. They see something maybe differently than us, or see something from the outside that will help us to be a better person or to be a better parent. So definitely consider what they're saying. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to agree with them or you have to make changes, but for sure consider what they're saying. And then if you do need to make changes, as I mentioned before, start those practical steps of making those changes. And if you don't need to make changes, then you can take a deep breath and tell yourself, I have a different opinion than this person, and that's okay. If there is something or someone who is making you feel guilty about the way you're parenting or the way you're mothering, and you know that it's not right, you know that the way that you're doing things works for you, works for your family, then you may have to distance yourself from that person or from that thing that's causing you to feel guilty. It might be a person, or maybe it's something on social media, someone you see on Instagram or on Facebook that you need to just mute or quit following. Sometimes that is the healthiest thing you can do, just to protect your heart, and so that you don't continue feeling that guilt when you know that it's not right guilt. The next thing I wanted to encourage you to do is remind yourself that you cannot do everything perfectly, that you are doing the best you can do with the resources and the knowledge that you currently have. Sometimes just admitting that you can't do everything perfectly and telling yourself, I can't do everything perfectly, it can give you the freedom that you need so that you don't experience that feeling of mom guilt. We are only human, and we are doing the best we can to raise our children the best we know how with the knowledge we have in the moment that we are raising them. Lastly, I wanted to encourage you to stop talking about feeling guilty. Quit giving energy to this idea that you feel guilty. I feel like mom guilt has almost become part of the club of motherhood. It's like, in order to be in the club, you have to talk about how you feel guilty about this or that or whatever you are feeling guilty about. We need to stop making mom guilt the norm. We need to start encouraging each other in the choices that we've made and the way that we are raising our families. I think it's okay when you are close to someone and you have that kind of friendship where there's trust there, that you can talk through why they might be doing something differently than you and ask them questions. But I think the norm should be that we support each other in whatever we're doing, recognizing that we are all different, and the way we are going to raise our kids and the way we are going to care for our family looks different for everyone, because everyone's family dynamic is different, and we need to trust one another as women, as mothers, that we are making the right choices for our families. Well, I hope this video resonated with you, inspired you today. I would love to hear from you down in the comments on this whole topic of mom guilt. Let me know if you experience it. Let me know what you do to stave it off. But I really appreciate you watching this video to the end. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing. Thanks, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. And she was, what am I saying? Why can't I tell a story? Sometimes we wait, how do I want to say this? What am I saying? Oh, the next, I hate this.